Hi everyone, Ment Morris here. Welcome to my lesson, What If Reggie Young Had Played the Original Solo on Working Man Blues? This is in continuation of my previous lesson where I explored the idea of Don Rich playing the original Working Man Blues solo. These lessons have been part of a larger idea that I've been exploring in the past few lessons regarding the incorporation of different players' licks and phrases and the history of those licks and phrases. It's very important as we learn licks, not just to learn them in the context that we initially hear them, but see and hear if we can find them in other players playing and learn how they use them as well. If you would like more information on that, please check out the other lessons that I previously posted. And if you'd like to see this applied very specifically, please consider checking out my new online course, A Working Man's Blues, Merle Haggard's Guitarists Throughout the Years. In this course, we look at 4 takes on a blues, starting with James Burton and the original Working Man Blues solo, then to a Roy Nichols live take on Working Man Blues, a Clint Strong live take on Honky Tonk Nighttime Man, and then finally a live take on Working Man Blues by the great Redd Volkaert. You can see how there are similar licks that are developed throughout each one of the players' vocabulary, and then their incorporation of other ideas that they've learned along the way. This is a great study in blues and country guitar, also using some outside influences. The link to that course will be in the description below. In this lesson, I would like to explore the idea of Reggie Young had played the original Working Man Blues solo. When I think of Reggie Young's playing, a couple of ideas come to mind. First off, spacing. A lot of the time in country guitar, as a country guitar player, I'm guilty of this. I'll start all of my phrases on 1 and then end all of my phrases on 4 or the next one, and then just kind of be very choppy and even with my phrasing. Reggie Young does an amazing job of starting different ideas on the ends of beats and on different beats themselves other than 1. That's something to keep in mind. The next idea is the use of blues. So Reggie Young will just use straight blues licks, even Albert King licks in his playing, and just adapt them to the rhythm. Another idea is the use of open strings. You can hear quite a bit of Chet Atkins and Jerry Reed influence in his playing. And then lastly, double stops, and then using those double stops in blues contexts. So I'd like to go through this little solo I wrote just to demonstrate some of these ideas. It won't be exact, but it'll capture the spirit of what I played. So to start off, we want to quote the melody. We've learned the melody in past lessons to Working Man, so we're just going to start off here and play it in double stops. So we have, I'm just playing a part of the melody. I'm leaving a lot of space. I have this A here, and then I'm going to come up to my C and E and just give it a little bend up. Then I'm going to do that again. I'm moving into my minor blues pentatonic area. So I've got these double stops here, D and F sharp, C and E, and A, and then my A note to resolve on. So I can have a lot of creativity just with the basic idea of the melody and then harmonizing with these double stops and giving it a blues flavor. So I can do things like this. Now, something that Reggie Young will do is he'll really milk some of these bends like I did in that original solo and bend this note, the D and F sharp, up to kind of like, they could say a whole step. He's kind of hitting the E and G here. So you might go, and that's a really nice sound. You don't hear too many players use that lick. So incorporate some of those ideas. The next thing, when we went to the 4 chord on here, I started incorporating some open string ideas. So I'm thinking a 4 chord, a D7. I have a D7 chord here, a D chord, excuse me, and then a D7 right here. And I'm just going to kind of work down this shape, incorporating the open strings as I go. So I have a phrase that I'll use quite a bit that sounds like this. variations on that. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm playing F sharp, D, open E, C, A, open B, A, F sharp, open G, E, C, open D, B, G, open A, F sharp. So 2 fretted notes across 2 strings and then the previous open string. That's the pattern. So we have, and then from there I snuck in a little open string diminished lick where I went from 4 to sharp 4, so I can play with that double stop at the end. So that lick here, I'll give it to you, is F sharp, open A string, 5th fret A, C, open D string, and then my D sharp, F sharp, open 3rd string, G string, to the A, and then some blues licks. So if you combine those together, you could go, and resolve how you would like to. But from there, I went up into this box up here. This is a sound that you'll often hear him play. I believe he does it on the I Think I'll Stay Here and Drink solo. It's just this really snappy double stop up here using the 6th, the flat 3rd, and the 5th. So he'll play like so, and then just give it a little bend on the 2nd string. So I'm just grabbing with my 2 fingers here, my middle and ring, yanking it, pulling off, and then bending slightly up. So we have this, and then resolving to my A there. And it's all out of my A chord here, the A shape at the octave. When I get to the 5 chord, I'm thinking a lot of blues ideas, especially from the original recordings. That's what they're using. So Albert King, like I said earlier, is a great influence on Reggie Young, and you can plug that right in here. So starting on beat 2, 1, those basic kind of blues licks. And then another thing with him, he's very punctual in his playing, so I tried to bring that out here when I came to the 4 chord, just playing all the way up to that D note, and then I'm just going to come down with really staccato, kind of almost chicken pickety notes, but I'm using my pick here, so I have resolving to my A, and then I'm just going to resolve back down into my A chord here with the double stop. That's another thing, he likes these 6 double stops. So if I connect a phrase, I might go like 1, and then finish on kind of another, again, Albert King blues lick, landing on that 5 to set up my next chorus into it. So that's kind of how I would approach framing a solo in the style of Reggie Young. Like I mentioned in the past lesson, it's important to practice like this, because if you're playing for many hours a night on the bandstand, you don't want to just put all of your licks and phrases out in one solo. You want to be able to stretch it across 2, 3, 4 hour gig. So a great way of doing that is thinking thematically, thinking in terms of how a certain player who has a developed style, as we're trying to develop our own vocabulary, would play a solo. That not only teaches you their vocabulary better and gives you material to use across the night, but it starts to show you how to incorporate that material into your own playing, and it gives your audience something interesting to listen to, so they're not just hearing kind of disconnected licks and phrases. So again, if you would like to study some more of this particular approach to practicing and learning licks, phrases, and solos, please consider checking out the new course. And if you'd like to learn some Reggie Young, I have a transcription pack available, as well as some free lessons on YouTube that you can see in the description below. I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.